pale yellow and a cinnamony brown yarn, a fabric of your choice. I chose this yellow plaid one, 2 circle clasps, a magnetic snap, string for sewing, preferably in the colors of the yarn, 2 needles, one is for sewing and the other is a crochet needle, a 3.5 hook. Now this yarn is a number 4 medium, which recommends a number 5 hook, but depending on how tight you crochet, you can go up or down a size. So to start with Pompompurin's face, we're just gonna go ahead and chain 25. So we're just gonna take our hook and pull it through. And I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward it a bit. So now we have our 25 stitches. So to begin our second round, we're gonna go ahead and skip that 25th stitch. So as you can see, there's a 25th stitch, and we're gonna go and begin the second round in the next one, so the 24th. So as you can see, I'm ignoring that first one and going into that second one, and we're gonna go ahead and start it with an increase. So that's 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. I'm going in for the second time, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that single crochet, and it's in the same stitch. So there's our increase, as you can see. So for the rest of the stitches, we're gonna do single crochets. So we're gonna single crochet for the next 22 stitches. So here I've finished, and I just want to point out, if your round starts to curl like this, it's okay. It does this for me because the tension is too tight and I tend to crochet too tight. But to finish this round, we're gonna go ahead and do an increase on that last one. So remember when I said that in the beginning we would do an increase and then single crochet for the next 22? Well, this last one is gonna be an increase. So we start with an increase and then we end with an increase. We're gonna end the second round with 26 stitches. I really recommend that you count the number of stitches you have after each round. I still have a problem with this, so I understand if you get frustrated, but I would just double check. So to start our third round, we're gonna be chaining 1, then we're gonna flip it over. So we're on our third round now, and we're gonna ignore that chain we just did, and we're gonna go into the next stitch and do an increase. So that was 1, and there's number 2. We're then gonna single crochet for the next 24 stitches. Here I am in the last stitch of the third round, and I'm gonna finish off with that increase. And you should end up with 28 stitches by the end of round 3. So now we're on the 4th round, and you know, like whenever we begin the round, we gotta chain 1. So never forget to chain 1, and then we're gonna skip that one and start with the increase. I think now y'all can kind of see that there's a pattern here. You chain 1 and then you ignore that one, and then go in with an increase, single crochet, and then finish with an increase. And you kind of do this until the 11th round. So once you reach the 11th round, we're gonna change it up. But if you've got this down, then you should be good until the next part. I'm gonna go ahead and finish that off screen, and I'll come back when I'm on the 11th round. Now I'm back after finishing up those rounds, and I'm on the 11th round now. And as we can see, it's starting to take shape. So we see that curve, and that's thanks to all the increases. So for the 11th round, it's simple. We're gonna start with our chain, And to start this round, we're going to skip that chain and we're going to start in that second one. And then we're not going to do an increase, we're going to do a single crochet. And we're going to single crochet all the way through until we reach the end. So no more increases, just single crochet. So you should end up with 42 stitches. So each round after this one should also equal 42 stitches. And we're gonna continue this until we reach round 20. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest off screen and we'll come back for round 20. So now we're back and this is what it looks like so far. We've already crocheted the majority of it and now it's time to decrease. To begin round 20, we're gonna do our chain like we usually do, and then we're gonna flip it over and then ignore that chain. But when we begin the round, we're gonna do a decrease. So to do that, you put in your hook just in the middle of the stitch. So as you can see, it's not going through the two pieces right there, just in the middle. So let me go ahead and show you again. You're gonna get your hook and make it go through the middle. Grab the yarn, pull it through, and then we're gonna go ahead and take those two pieces, stick the hook into the middle of the second stitch that's next to it, and we're left with these three pieces, these three loops. So next we're just gonna grab that yarn and then pull it through all three of the loops, and there we have our decrease. We're then gonna single crochet for the next 38 stitches. I'm back and we're about to finish round 20, and we're gonna finish it with a decrease. So make sure you have 2 stitches left. So here I'm going in the first stitch, then pulling it through. We're going into that second stitch and then pulling the yarn, and then we have those 3 loops left, and then we're just gonna pull the yarn through all 3 of those loops. And remember, whenever we start the decrease, we go in just through the middle of the stitch like we did in the beginning. You should count 40 stitches. For round 21, we're gonna single crochet all the way through this round, and we're gonna end up with 40 stitches. Here I'm done with round 21, and we're gonna continue this pattern. I don't know if you guys picked up on it, but it's one round of decrease, and then the one that follows is just a single crochet round. And we're gonna continue this until round 27, where you should have 34 stitches. So remember, whenever we do those rounds that have decreases, we begin with a decrease, single crochet, and then end with a decrease. And I'm gonna come back for round 28. So here I'm back for the 20th round, and this is what it looks like so far. We're almost done. We're just finishing up with those decreases we have left. So for round 28, it's the same. You know, we're doing that extra chain, and then we're gonna decrease. Then we're gonna single crochet the next 30, and we're gonna end with a decrease. And you should end up with 32 stitches. So we've been doing this so far. We do a decrease round, and then we were following up with just a single crochet round. But from now on, we're not gonna do that. So for round 29, it's another decrease round. So you're gonna repeat and start with a decrease, single crochet, and end with a decrease. And you're gonna do this up until round 32. I'm gonna go ahead and finish it off screen and come back when we're on the final round, which should be round 33. So that means by the time you finish round 32, you should have 24 stitches. This is our final round, so round 33, and we're gonna start it off like we usually do. I feel like I've repeated it 1,000 times, but it's just a good reminder for you guys because I tend to forget when I'm crocheting. And we're gonna go ahead and just single crochet the whole way through. So here I am finishing off that last round. So this is how it looks like, And to just finish it off completely, we're just gonna take our yarn and pull it through like that extra stitch. So, you know, it's the same stitch we've been doing, that extra stitch we do in the beginning of each round. We're gonna pull it tight and then we're gonna go ahead and trim the yarn. So this is what Pompompurin's face looks like. And you're gonna go ahead and make 2 of these. Start off the side. We're gonna go ahead and count 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds, and we're just gonna keep track of that. And we're gonna do the same on this side. And see, I've already kind of like marked it just so you guys can see it better. And we're gonna connect, essentially the idea is to connect those pieces together and make sure they're aligned. If you want to recount the rounds, it's fine, I did. So we're gonna start with just like a regular loop, and we're just gonna tighten it a little. And now, so that 4th round that we counted, we're gonna grab our hook, we're gonna pull it through, and then we're gonna hook it to that chain we did, to that loop, and we're gonna just pull that through and make a stitch. So it's a slip stitch essentially. And then we're gonna chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then we're gonna grab that second part, and then, you know, we're gonna count that 4th round, 2, 3, 4, and then we're gonna put in our hook. Make sure, this is important, make sure this is straight and don't let it twirl around, and it's really essential for it to come out correctly. So now that we have our hook in that piece, we're just gonna connect it with a slip stitch. So now they're connected, the 2 pieces are connected, and you're gonna finish it off with a stitch, and then you're gonna go into the next round of that piece that we're working on, and we're gonna finish it with a slip stitch, and that is just 1 round. So to start the 2nd round, if you will, we're not really counting here, but I just want to let you guys know how we started. It's the most difficult part of the side, but we're essentially gonna have it like straight, make sure it's all facing towards us, and we're gonna go into that stitch, and we're just gonna do like pull it in through the top part, and it's gonna be a regular stitch, as you guys can see. So it's like the top half of the stitches is what we're crocheting into. So there's the 3rd one. Fourth, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. This is what it looks like, and we're gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You should have 8 stitches for each round you do. And to finish it off, we're gonna finish it off like we did on the last one. So we're gonna go ahead and go into like that next like stitch of one of the faces, and we're gonna do a slip stitch, and then we're gonna do a regular stitch, and then we're gonna go further down and finish it off with a slip stitch. And that's essentially how you do each round. Now, like I said, I don't count the rounds. You don't really have to. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but I don't. But to start the next one, you're just gonna go ahead and like flip it over and then start the same way we've been doing the other ones. I'm gonna go ahead and come back. I've done a lot of the side so you guys can see just how it's supposed to start looking like. So I'm back and this is what it looks like so far. Now I really recommend that whenever you do the sides, like you're continuously doing them, that you hold the two faces together and make sure they're aligned, because if you don't, you might get one side that's more crooked in a way because you've done more rounds on that side. So my bobby pin, like as you can see here, to just like make sure they're aligned. So I have all of this left, and as you can see, I'm just putting it together to see that I evenly put the same amount of rounds on each side. So here we are finishing up the sides. So as you can see, my bobby pins on both of the faces, I'm aligning them up just to see if they match. And so for the last round, I've technically already done it. So I'm over here just making sure that I have the same amount of stitches, which should be 8 stitches if you guys remember. And to actually finish off the sides, we're just gonna grab our hook and we're gonna do a slip stitch and then go into the next stitch on the face, make sure it's aligned, and do another slip stitch. And we're actually gonna do one more slip stitch, but that's just to fasten it off. And you're gonna go ahead and pull that really tight and then cut the remaining yarn. And there we have our sides. So this is what it's supposed to look like now. We have officially connected Pompompurin's face. Now we're gonna start on the inside, the lining of Pompompurin, and we're just gonna go ahead and measure it. You're supposed to cut out 2 rectangles of fabric, both 9 by 6 inches, and you're gonna need 2 of them. So for the side, I cut out a long 2-inch strip. I don't really care about the length as long as it's fairly long, because we're gonna end up cutting it. So here I've laid out all the pieces we have, and as you can see, we have 2 for the face, and that 2-inch strip I ended up cutting into 3 pieces, 2 6-inch pieces and 1 9-inch piece. So I went ahead and sewed it off screen, and you're just basically gonna place those 2 6-inch pieces on top of one of the rectangles and sew the edges. And you're gonna end up with something like this. It's supposed to open up. So I went ahead and sewed that 9-inch strip onto the bottom while I had those 2 side flaps opened up. So now you're gonna go ahead and sew that last rectangle onto that bottom strip. So now we want to connect this side onto that side. So what you're gonna do is flip it over, and we're gonna end up on this side. And what you're gonna want to do is cut 2 slits on the side of each stitch. Make sure you cut the side, not the outside, just the inside. And now we have more freedom to move it around. So I went ahead and put some sewing pins to hold it down while I sew. So after sewing it down, this is what it's gonna look like. So you're gonna end up with these little squares on the corners, and you're just gonna go ahead and cut inside of those squares, and you're gonna end up with something like this. Fold it over, you're gonna have this little rectangle sticking out, and you're just gonna go ahead and sew across it. And you could go ahead and cut off the excess if you like. I think I did. and you're essentially going to repeat what you did on one side to the other. So this is what the inside of the bag looks like, and we're sewing it this way so we have a good amount of room for the inside of the bag. So now that we have our lining done, we're gonna go ahead and place it inside the bag, and I went ahead and folded over like the top of the lining, and I even ironed it just so it stays nice and folded. And you're gonna take your thread and needle, and you're gonna go ahead and start hand sewing just like the inside of the lining, if it makes sense. So don't go ahead and pull your needle all the way through the fabric. This is just gonna allow it to look cleaner. So you're just gonna put it through the crochet part, and then you're gonna go ahead and pull it through the inside of the fabric, so like this. So make sure it's not poking through all of it, just the inside. And you're just gonna go ahead and tighten it up, and you're gonna repeat this step all the way around. So this is what the bag looks like finished. Now for these loose ends, we're gonna just go ahead and hide them away, and we're gonna use that by putting in our hook and just feeding it through the stitches. And I usually do this until like I have a little bit left, and then I just snip it off. And this is what it should look like when you're done. We're gonna go ahead and start on the ears. So right here I'm just making a magic ring of 6. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this off screen and come back for round 2, but you should end up with 6 stitches for round 1. So this is what round 2 looks like, and we're gonna go ahead and start on round 3. We're gonna start it off with a single crochet, followed by an increase, and we're gonna repeat that 6 times, and you should end up with 18 stitches. So now we're on our 4th round, and we're gonna go ahead and do 2 single crochets. So there goes 1, and there goes the second one, and on that 3rd stitch we're gonna do an increase, and you're gonna repeat this 6 times, and you should end up with 24 stitches in the 4th round. So we're on our 5th round now, and we're gonna go ahead and do 3 single crochets this time, and then an increase. So there goes our 1st single crochet, our 2nd, and now our 3rd. And we're just gonna do an increase, and we're gonna repeat this 6 times, and you should end up with 30 stitches for round 5. So round 6 through 12 is gonna be 30 single crochets. So for round 13 we're gonna go ahead and do 8 single crochets. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and once we're done with 8 single crochets we're going to do a decrease. So we're just going to go ahead and do the decrease like I showed you guys earlier in the video, and we're going to do this for 3 times, and you should end up with 27 stitches. So for round 14 we're just going to go ahead and single crochet 27 all the way around. So for round 15 we're going to do 7 single crochets. So there goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then we're going to do a decrease, and we're going to repeat this 3 times, and you should end up with 24 stitches. Round 16 is going to be 24 single crochets all around. For round 17 we're going to do 6 single crochets. There goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then we're going to do a decrease. Repeat this 3 times, and you should end up with 21 stitches. For round 18 we're going to do 21 single crochets all around. For round 19 we're going to do 5 single crochets. There goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to do a decrease. repeat this 3 times and you should end up with 18 stitches. For round 20, we're going to go ahead and do 18 single crochets all around. So for round 21, we're going to go ahead and do 1 single crochet and then a decrease, and we're going to repeat this 6 times and we should end up with 12 stitches. For round 22, we're going to go ahead and do 12 single crochets. Round 22 was our last round, and we're just going to go ahead and make a slip stitch, and then we're going to go ahead and just pull the yarn through and then snip it with some scissors. You're going to go ahead and make 2 of these, and we're going to go ahead and grab our stuffing, and we're just going to fill it up just in the middle here where it's wider. Make sure not to fill it up too tight. We want it to still be kind of soft. We just want to add a little volume to the ears. When you're done, you should end up with something like this. So to start off Pompompurin's hat, we're going to do a magic ring of 4. So for round 2, we're going to go ahead and do an increase 4 times, and you're going to end up with 8 stitches. So for round 3, we're going to go ahead and do a single crochet followed by an increase, and we're going to do this 4 times and you should end up with 12 stitches. So for round 4, we're going to do 2 single crochets. So there goes 1, 2, and then we're going to do an increase. And we're going to repeat this for 4 times and you should end up with 16 stitches. So for round 5 through 21, we're going to single crochet 16 stitches, and I'm going to go ahead and do it off screen, and by the time we come back it should be like about this long. So for round 22, we're going to do 2 single crochets. There goes 1 and 2, and then we're going to do a decrease, and you're going to repeat this 4 times and you should end up with 12 single crochets. For round 23, we're going to do 1 single crochet and then a decrease, and we're going to do this for 4 times and you're going to end up with 8 single crochets. For round 24, our final round, we're going to go ahead and decrease 4 times and you should end up with 4 stitches. When you're done, you're going to go ahead and just make a slip stitch. You're going to go ahead and pull that yarn through, and we're going to go ahead and cut it. And we're just going to hide it away. So I'm over here kind of feeding it in through like that curve of the beret. And if you want to count for this, I just counted 2 rounds down and pulled out the yarn through there. And you should end up with something like this. I know I kept saying hat throughout the video, but it's a beret. And later on, we're going to go ahead and attach it. To start the stem on the beret, we're going to do a magic ring of 5. So there goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're just going to go ahead and pull that yarn to close it off. So we're on round 2 now, and we're going to do 5 single crochets. So you should end in 5 stitches. And we're going to do this all the way to round 5. So round 2 to 5 is going to be just single crochet all the way, and you're going to end in 5. And as you can see, it is going to get a little harder to put in the needle, but I just wanted to show you guys that it's normal. Like, I'm struggling with it too, so if you have this problem, it's okay. So I just want to show you guys what the second round looks like, and you're going to crochet this much more. So I'm going to go ahead and do it off screen, and when I come back, we should be finished. So here I'm back, and this is what it should look like. We're just going to go ahead and finish it off with a slip stitch, and then we're going to pull the yarn and just go ahead and snip it with some scissors. And we're going to go ahead and take the stalk and attach it to the beret right in the middle. So we're going to go ahead and start making the features on Pompompurin's face, and we're going to go ahead and start with the nose. So you're going to go ahead and count 16 stitches down, and then you're going to kind of find like a middle point. I'm eyeballing it, and then you're going to count 4 stitches and that's gonna be to the side. And you're gonna want to eyeball where, because this is gonna be the nose, and you're gonna want to eyeball the ends of the nose. So we're gonna go ahead and grab our yarn, and we're gonna go ahead and put it in through one of those ends, and then we're just gonna go ahead and tie it. And for the point of the triangle, you're gonna go ahead and just count 2 stitches down, and then you're just gonna repeat this, so kind of fill in that triangle. So now that we're done with the nose, we're gonna start on the mouth, and you're gonna go ahead and count 3 stitches down, and you're gonna go ahead and put in your needle, and you're gonna take it out by counting 4 stitches to the side, but also make sure you kind of go down 1 stitch. So now we're gonna grab our needle and put it back into the middle, and we're gonna take it out 1 stitch above and to the left of the previous line we did with the yarn. Now we're gonna go ahead and put it back in that same hole, and then we're gonna take it out through 1 stitch on the right side. So make sure it's just like a straight line to the side, and it's just gonna be like smaller line. That's what one side of the mouth looks like, and you're just gonna go ahead and repeat this on the other side. For the eyes, you're gonna go ahead and count 8 stitches to the left of the nose. Then you're gonna go ahead and count 3 stitches to the side, and then 2 stitches up, and then you're gonna repeat this until you get a square. We're just gonna go ahead and fill in that square, and we're gonna go ahead and kind of mold it into like a circle kind of as we go. It's just kind of manipulating the yarn as you go, and we're just gonna go ahead and hide away the yarn with the needle. And now you're just gonna repeat this on the other side. So now we're gonna go ahead and attach the ears. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my needle and tie that long piece of yarn that we left. So I'm gonna fold the ear in half, and then I'm gonna feed in through the 2 sides, and then also the side of the bag. So make sure to just like kind of count the stitches as you go and make sure it's even, and then you're gonna repeat this on the other side. So now we're gonna go ahead and attach Pompompurin's beret. So you're gonna go ahead and grab your needle, and you're gonna stick it inside the end of the beret. You're gonna lay it flat too, and then you're just gonna take it out to where you see the curve of the beret, and we're gonna go ahead and align the beret with the ends of the top of the face. I'm just gonna go ahead and carefully have them together and check that they are straight, because if not, your beret will come out kind of crooked. I'm just gonna go ahead and tie it off by making a knot. Now we're gonna go ahead and sew on the stem. Now you're just gonna make sure you weave in through all of the stitches at the bottom of the stem, and as long as you get all of those, it should stick up just fine, but just make sure you get all the stitches. Also, to hide away your yarn, you're gonna wanna just stick in your needle inside the beret, and then take it out towards the end, pull it, and then snip it off with some scissors, and you should be able to hide away whatever yarn you have left. You're gonna go ahead and start on that long strap, and you're gonna start it by chaining 8 chains. So there goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So now we're gonna go ahead and turn it upside down, and we're gonna go ahead and do single crochets into the top loop only. So we're gonna go ahead and skip that last chain, and we're gonna go ahead and start crocheting into the next one, and you're gonna single crochet 7. So here I'm finishing up that 7th single crochet, and I'm finishing up this round with a chain. So from now on, actually, whenever you finish a round, you're gonna chain 1 and then you're gonna skip it like we previously did, and we're gonna single crochet into the next stitch, including the top stitch on the other side. So I think you're gonna start seeing this pattern, like whenever you finish a round, you're always gonna have those 2 loops that you're gonna go into, and you're just gonna repeat this until you basically get the length you want on the strap. So here I just finished doing another round, and remember, whenever we're done, we're gonna have 7 stitches. It's technically 7 stitches wide, but whenever you finish with those 7 single crochets, you're gonna chain an extra one, and then when you begin the next round, you're gonna ignore that chain. So technically that's all there is to it. You're just gonna continue this pattern until you get to the desired length. I did it until I reached a length of 47.5 inches or 121 centimeters. You could stop whenever you like. So here I'm done with the strap, and basically to close it off, you're gonna go ahead and crochet into those 2 loops, but you're gonna just slip stitch them. So you're gonna slip stitch all the way, and then you're gonna do another slip stitch, and then you're gonna pull that yarn tight and then cut it off. So to start the short handle, we're gonna do a magic ring, and we're gonna start off the same, so it's like a normal single crochet, but then we're gonna do 8 half double crochets. So there goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We're gonna go ahead and pull the end of that magic ring tight, and for our second round, we're gonna begin by doing an extended double crochet into the middle of that next stitch. So it's gonna be on the inside of the ring. Technically there's a loop in the middle there, so we're leaving those top stitches alone, and we're gonna crochet into the magic ring. And like I said, we're gonna do an extended double crochet, and then we're gonna go on to the next one, and you're gonna do 8 extended double crochets, and you're essentially gonna keep doing this until your strap starts getting longer. And like I said in the previous strap, you're gonna do it until you have the desired length that you want. So we're not counting rounds for this strap either. And as you keep going, so as long as you keep crocheting into the next loop, it's gonna be kind of like a spiral, and that's what's gonna end up making the strap. So mine came out to be 14.5 inches or 37 centimeters. So right now I'm showing you guys how to basically hide away that piece of yarn we have left. So we're just gonna basically feed it in through the handle like I'm doing in the video. I also forgot to film a video closing off the handle, but essentially what you're gonna do is, instead of finishing it off by crocheting into the middle like we've been doing, we're just gonna do regular single crochets. So we're gonna basically end it like the beret, and we're gonna leave a long piece of yarn like you guys just saw, and we're gonna weave it in through that last round like the beret as well. Now we're gonna go ahead and sew on the magnetic snap. So you're gonna go ahead and take your yellow string, and we're gonna go ahead and place it right in the middle. Make sure to actually close the beret just to kind of eyeball where it's gonna go, and make sure to put the part that has the hole on top of the face. Now we're gonna grab our brown string and we're gonna attach the top part on the beret. Now I went ahead and grabbed the other part of the magnetic snap and put it on the bottom part, and then I put down the beret just to see where I would have to sew it on. Now we're gonna add our ribbon to our strap, and you're essentially gonna use the whole roll of ribbon and you're gonna cut it in half, and for one half you're gonna attach your yarn needle and you're gonna weave it in through the strap, and you're gonna cover 2 stitches and then you're gonna skip 2 stitches. So start by putting it under and then going over, covering 2 stitches, then bringing it back out, but make sure there's a space of 2 stitches in between each line. Here I'm just finishing up that one side, and I do want to mention that make sure you leave enough ribbon in the beginning and at the end of the strap. You should have enough ribbon since we did cut that whole roll in half, and that's what we're using, and you're just going to repeat this on the other side. So here I am just lining up those ribbons and cutting them with some scissors, and when you're done you're going to want to grab a lighter and melt the ends, and then you're just going to repeat this process on the other side and make sure they're all lined up and the same length. So now we're going to go ahead and finally attach these rings. Make sure the small handle is in front of the strap, and you're going to get the ring and you're going to put it through the handle, and then you're gonna fold the strap inward. When you have that, you're gonna go ahead and fold the side of the bag and just put the ring in through those 2 sides. Here I'm just repeating it on the other side. So you're gonna grab your ring, you're gonna go ahead and put it into the handle, then you're gonna fold the strap, and then you're gonna put it into the side. But also make sure when you do the other side to extend the strap and make sure it's straight. Here I'm just tying the ribbons into bows, and I'm doing it for both sides. And we're done finally. So let me know in the comments if you guys liked this tutorial. It's my first video, so I'm not good at explaining things, but if you guys have any questions, go ahead and put it in the comments. And if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe, because I'm gonna keep on uploading more things like this. So thank you, bye.